Alright everybody, this is my first video where I've had to do a voiceover. Apparently at some point in time I turned off the settings of my camera for the microphone, so we're going to try this. Alright, so as you can see, I got a new hot glue gun because I couldn't stand to have my man card revoked from my Dollar General version. So I'm just taking this thing and I'm filling all the holes in my 3D prints. I found that in some of the prints that I've had, there were imperfections, actually places where they weren't totally sealed. I had done 4 smaller versions of this skull, which you saw at the beginning of this video very briefly, and a lot of them didn't have the nose bridge portion filled out, and none of them had the teeth come out. Some of them were missing jaw sections, and it all boils down to places where my 3D prints weren't totally sealed up and printed shut. So this is going to be the quickest and easiest video of mine you guys have ever had to watch. It's less than 15 minutes, so that should be pretty easy, and maybe you guys will want the rest of these to be that way. So that right there is the 3D printer filament. It's 1.75 millimeters, and that's actually what I used to make essentially quote-unquote braces for the teeth. This also right here is my new sprue design. It's taller. It doesn't have as much volume. If you can see it on these small 3D printed skulls here, they were just basically funnels that I put on the back sides of the skulls, but they were too tight for me to get through. So this is what they look like after I used a hot knife and seared the 3D printer filament to the teeth to give them a vent back up to the pouring basin, and I did that on the back side, the 2 tallest points of the skull and the jaw and the teeth, so that all that stuff would have a way of venting back to the pouring basin. This is it after it's been cooked out in a kiln at 1700 degrees for an hour. You can see a lot of that shell and a lot of the thinner areas turned out to be incredibly fragile. It actually worked really well. I was surprised that all of that was able to melt out of it. So I'm going to cast it right now, and I'll see you guys on the table. the aluminum like I would have expected. Oh, I hope I got that on camera. Oh, I did. Thank you. Alright, so, Gumby T-rex take 2. It is so freaking hot here. And this furnace is running like a freight train. I can't even slow it down. I'll fire you guys up for the reveal. Alright guys, so here we go again. My microphone's off, so you're getting a voiceover here. Actually, what ended up happening is I dropped this skull on my way back to the table, and a lot of my vents broke off and it fractured the jaw. And just leaving this thing cool out in the atmosphere. Oh God, please, Chirpy, look away. You didn't just see me use that as a hammer. I swear to God, if I ever get the tools that you're making for me, I will never use them as a hammer, I promise. But like I was saying, I dropped this skull on the ground on my way back to my table. And it ended, oh gosh, there we go, with the straight edge, the steel straight edge. That's actually, believe it or not, surprisingly, that is the best tool I've found for fracturing the ceramic shell off of these molds. So if anybody else has a better idea and a better way of getting this stuff off, I am more than receptive to it. Please share, please help me in any way that you can, but so far that's been the best way I've found to get rid of this ceramic shell on the mold. It's incredibly durable, it's really hard, and I don't know if it's the aluminum oxide that I'm using or if it is just the ceramic shell itself, so if you could share that, that'd be great. So here I am just using my straight edge to beat the ceramic shell off of this. Excuse me. But it filled the 3D printer film, and you can actually see it. It actually cast a 1.75 millimeter vent from the rear of the jaws all the way up, well, not all the way up, but about an inch back. And then the teeth, the braces filled almost an inch past all the teeth. So we're definitely getting the kind of fill that we need. And this was actually poured at room temperature. This mold was room temperature when I poured it. So for aluminum, you just keep it in sand and then pour it at room temperature, and the color of the aluminum turns out really nice. The finish is really nice. It actually turned out pretty amazing. So I'll fire you guys back up here in a minute for the reveal. Final product, we finally have an ungumbied T-rex. That's it. That's how she turned out. Still see a little bit of print lines on the top. Cleaned everything else up pretty nicely, and the jaw in the front ended up getting a little crusty. But other than that, man, I think it looks awesome, and I'm going to be pretty stoked to put this on my desk. So that's it. Have a good one.